I left this week in CBI.
Right. Good morning, everybody. We have the normal crew here with us today. To my right, we have Ash put in the Yankees jersey, background with Ash. And to my left, we have Ash put in the Yankees hat, sponsored by Ash in the background in another hat. And of course, I myself am Ash, AC fan, the AI lover of the group. And other verses in my head. How are you doing today?
It's a great Ash Wednesday. Like, this is probably the best Ash Wednesday I've ever had. I'm enjoying it, and we're honoring such a great figure in not only Discord but just fantasy sports in general.
Luke, I couldn't agree more. Just really, Ash is just such a great guy, and it's just an honor that on this Ash Wednesday we can celebrate him.
You got to be a special person to have a day named after you, right? I think that's how it works in sports. Just to have a day named after you is a real important thing. And I for one, bask in the glory of what's going on here. I'm just ashamed of myself for not being able to have a tribute photo in time. I'm embarrassed, really. I hope the other two of you Ashes can forgive me.
And, honestly, to the people in the Discord that were like, what's going on? Why is my name Ash? And weren't excited about it, shame on you. Quite not, just shame on you.
Shame on the people who change their name right away. Like,
I feel like it's at least someone's got to come in and turn around and be like, hey, this is funny, or at least smile about it. I see some people immediately were like, no, I'm going exactly back to the way it was. This is a no fun Discord. This is real sports. Conferences from the they must be exact in the Collegiate Baseball League. We must have no fun in here. I don't know.
No one's gonna know who I am, even though I use the same icon every day, and people can recognize my icon.
I also realized how much time I've spent in the goddamn Discord because I looked at people's icons on notifications and I'm like, I know exactly who.
I know exactly which.
Yeah,
which
like Jim is
commenting, and I know except for the two of you who were really dedicated. Who were extremely dedicated, and that was the most infuriating one out of all of them because it was just like
I think I've caught at least two people today conversing with me thinking I was Ash because I got the Brave symbol on. So I think they were like, yeah, that's definitely Ash. And I was like, this is terrible. For anyone who's watching from outside the Discord, which might be one person, honest to God, it's April Fool's Day, and we're just having a little fun with each other. Normally with us is our friend Ashley Finn, who is not on tonight because he's going to be on tomorrow doing his own show, and he was on last night, and we can't overwork him. It's against the rules on Ash Wednesday. So here we are, and we're supposed to talk about sports, and we're supposed to talk about New York sports, but I don't think that's going to happen knowing you guys. So I don't know what you've lined up for today.
We have a lot. We have a lot to talk about. I can open us up right away, but it's going to piss Peter off.
Are we going to do that? Can I take this hat off? Because it's a little too small. It's actually hurting my head. So let's
you have such a big head.
Is that Kenny's hat? Just wants to know.
It was actually, yes. It was Kenny's hat. He left it.
No, we've been talking so much about baseball. We haven't really talked about football, and I want.
Oh, guys, I gotta go. That's crazy. So I gotta go. So I'm just happy.
I want to talk about some comments that Aaron Glenn made this week, saying that former quarterback and now current quarterback Geno Smith is going to take the Jets to the promised land. Peter, do you have any thoughts or comments on that?
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts. Number one, what is the promised land? Is talking about heaven?
That's a great start.
Kill ourselves
because we need to set some context here.
I feel like if it was heaven because we're all going to die watching this, to me that's an acceptable. Hi Gengar in the background. That's an acceptable reason. If it's the promised land as far as Super Bowls, please start drug testing that man. It was honestly, last year he was trying to do this thing where he's like, I'm not telling the media which quarterback I'm started. I'm going to be secretive and cool, even though at the end of the day, they were both dog ass. So you didn't actually gain an advantage from that. So now he's just like, oh, guys, media, I'm buddy with you because I realize that my job is on the line and I need you to like me, so you write nice articles. It's just a fucking game, man. Like it's hard. It's so hard to take him in this organization seriously when you say shit like that.
Come on, dude. What is he supposed to say? What is he supposed to say? He's supposed to go out there and be like, you know what? Fuck Geno Smith. That's my quarterback, but he sucks ass.
You can just
he
say
sucks
like, hey,
dog water. Dude,
bro,
he has to say something.
There's no middle ground that you can be like, I think Geno Smith's gonna be really good for us, and we're gonna surprise a lot of people. But he went all the way to the promise.
Right, but if he said that, people would have made fun of him too.
I'm with Peter. I'm actually with Peter here. There is a middle ground here, and it's recognize that you have the guy that you need right now, but also set expectations with him. Realistic expectations, right? Like, I think Geno Smith is a good quarterback. I don't think he had a good year last year, but I think he can improve upon that.
And I think we can surprise a lot of people. There you go.
Yeah, I think those are fair statements. Going out and saying that he's going to lead us to the promised land, that's BS. Like that's fairy tale BS. Because Geno Smith hasn't led anyone to the promised land. And again,
I think it's ridiculous to talk about this. This is strictly a New York thing because we want to sit there and like this wouldn't be a storyline anywhere else, but it's a goddamn New York team. So they're like, he said something that he has optimism for his quarterback. He knows they're not going to the Super Bowl. But what is he going to say?
Unless Geno Smith is going to Joe Namath's house and murdering him in his sleep, he's not taking the Jets to the promised land. Like,
and maybe he does. Maybe he is going to murder Joe Namath. We don't know. But like,
maybe those things are in the plan.
Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's listen. If Joe Namath dies next week, I'm going to be sitting here cackling for half hour on this podcast. I'm just going to be sitting there like, see, you had no idea what the plan was.
You better call the hotline in New York. I think it's just like New York or something. Because I think we got a good tip here.
I think, honest to God, it's obviously like it's not a like reasonable thing to say in terms of saying that Geno Smith is going to the promised land, right? But it's also one of those things where like I don't get it. I mean, if he went out there and just said they're going to be fucking ass, like it doesn't work that way, right? He's supposed to be somewhat optimistic. He's probably got a year here max. Unless he turns it around, he's just saying the things he wants to say. But I don't think it's a big deal.
You can be optimistic without saying he's going to take us to the Super Bowl. Like you really, hey,
verbatim what you said 2 minutes ago, right? If he came out there and says, we got our guy, and we think Geno Smith's going to be an improvement, and we think we're going to surprise a lot of people, right? I guarantee you, 7 out of 10 of those fucking fans are going to sit there and be like, what a fucking idiot this guy is. Like, he cannot win. There is no way that he was going to say something that anyone would have been like, oh, this guy's on top of it. And he has to say something this year because it's the New York media, and he kind of ignored them last year.
The point is that you've now said that 7 out of 10 fans would say he's an idiot, right? Right now, 9.5 out of 10 fans are saying he's an idiot. Because
right, but 10 out of 10 of those Jets fans 10 out of 10 of those Jets fans, myself included, are stupid. So what does he need our opinion for? What does he need us for? We're supporting a burning Titanic franchise. We watch them. Like, we're dumb. Peter and I own Jets equipment. I have a Jets Build-A-Bear in my house, for Christ's sake. We're the idiots here. What does he need our approval for? It doesn't matter if he's got 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or 11 out of 10.
I will say, after yesterday, our dear fearless leader and other people thrown around a tweet that comparing the Italian national team not making the World Cup to the New York Jets. And I would just like to say, what an absolute travesty to comparing the Jets to the Italian national team. They have won the World Cup in 2006. So, like, in all of our lifetimes, they won the Euros in 2021. So, like, they have major championship success. If you want to accurately compare the New York team, probably be the Giants, who also have 2 championships in our lifetime. I don't know. Rams pretty old. Maybe he stuck in Parcells' last one. I don't know. But the Jets are probably the worst franchise to root for in sports. a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're in New York, so they get way more media attention than, say, probably an actual worse franchise than like the Charlotte Hornets. Like, does anyone care about the Charlotte Hornets? No, they're irrelevant. But the Jets are in New York, so people care about them. I'm sorry to all five Charlotte Hornet fans.
They were relevant when Michael Jordan owned them because Michael Jordan.
I like the Charlotte Hornets. They're kind of fun.
Were they actually relevant though?
No, that was their relevance, was that people could say, "Oh, Michael Jordan owns the Charlotte Hornets," and hey, they're in 16th place right now.
The Sabres are breaking a playoff drought now, right? I remember I was looking that up earlier because I was looking at stuff on the Jets. I also got mad because of the fact that I was looking up the article like to see about like the Sabres are doing it, and this came up. I just want to pull it up, and like you can see in the like Buffalo isn't just ending a playoff drought; it's smashing the gate open. And I really enjoyed the creativity of removing the M dash from the AI and putting a semicolon. I thought it was sweet of them to work really hard and remove the M dash and try to take it as their own work. But the Jets are obviously in a position where, I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily going to be knocking on playoffs door this season or next season or for some time, quite obviously. Thank God they've won at least one Super Bowl because they've got that over the Bills, hypothetically. But it's I don't know. I just don't think it's that big a deal. If I'm being honest, like commentary-wise, I think he wants to say something nice about his quarterback. Fine, we'll move on. You know, like I honestly, there's going to be dumber things to worry about when it comes to camp. The Jets play is probably going to be comical enough. I'm not losing sleep over the fact that he wants to try to say something nice about his quarterback. I wish he would have been a little bit more reasonable about it, but I mean, it seems to be like you drink the green Kool-Aid and you say crazy stuff. Like Rex Ryan, who I love to death, was also, you know, a master of saying crazy shit that had no reason to be said when the Jets had no reason to talk. And that's kind of where we're at.
Years, the Jets had a ton of reasons to talk those years because he actually won games.
And yeah, they made it to 2 AFC Championship games in back-to-back years, and the second year beat Tom Brady and Peyton Manning to get there. So like,
I mean, I understand that Tom Brady not having a winning record against the Jets in the playoffs is a big deal, and we have Rex Ryan to thank for that. But you know, at the same time, like there's not too much to. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to overcome when you're in a situation like this to be able to talk and like it mean anything. I just look at everything as fluff, no matter what. Like I don't even like last year. You guys talked about it. He was kind of avoiding media. He's not really telling people what he's going to do. I think he's just trying to build a better relationship and give them some quotes so he survives the New York media monster. And you know he's got to do that. He's got to try to find before like all the articles come out in week one and they're like, is Aaron Glenn on the hot seat already? And he will be, but he's trying to avoid that, I think.
Well, unless Luke or Ram, you guys have more to talk about with the Jets.
I would hope not.
Pivoting with the giving New York media quotes, apparently when David Stearns said he wanted the Mets to focus on run prevention, they took that as we don't want to score runs. Only the New York Mets could give Paul Skeens a 6.7 ERA to start his season to then just never score runs again. I'm quite honestly. Listen, Luke. I'm sorry, but it actually is.
No, he's right. Listen, if somebody when we talked about run prevention, we didn't assume that he meant the Mets' own runs being prevented, but that's where we're at right now. Yeah, it's not exactly a great.
We're seeing a lot of issues that we saw on the last year's team. Still can't hit lefties. Last year they were 17th in baseball in hitting lefties. Can't hit with runners in scoring position, and we can't blame it on the players anymore because they got all new players. The core it's a whole new core now, and guess what? Same thing's happening. Soto's still Soto, but one man does not carry a squad. So I'm honestly at a loss for words of how to feel, what to think. Hopefully you two beautiful gentlemen have some thoughts, maybe how the Mets can fix it, because I'm at a loss.
Can I just say something objectively here? Through 6 games, the Mets are 3-3. Again, it's early in the season. 23 runs scored. Yankees through 6 games, 5-1, 24 runs scored. I don't know. I haven't watched enough Mets games right now, and maybe the narrative is a little different, but I'm looking at runs scored, and they're not far off from everybody else. Kansas City scored 9 runs through 4 games, so that's pretty bad. I don't know. Houston has 45. That seems like an outlier. Miami's putting up runs. The Nationals are putting up runs. It just seems like the Mets are very middle of the pack right now. The offense is much better than how it's performing. I can totally agree with that, but it's still early, right? And I think there's this epidemic across the league right now, and I think it's just the narrative every season that guys are still getting through their swings, they're still getting their timing down. It's just not there yet. The pitching is so dominant in the beginning of the year. As you move through April, as the weather warms up, the batters, it'll start swinging in the batter's favor.
I kind of want to doom a little bit just because it's been a really annoying 6 games. We've kind of seen that they talked about the idea of run prevention, better defense, better hitting with runners in scoring position. Outside of game 1, they've been dog shit with runners in scoring position. They've made quite a few defensive lapses, and they've also made some mental lapses on the base paths, things like that. So there has been a bit of a collection issue. I'm going to have to switch that around here. Yeah, there you go. Obviously, since the 11 runs on opening day, which obviously skews it because they were batting 300 on opening day there. 15 runs, 6 and 49 of runners in scoring position, 0-11 today, 1 run in their last 23 innings. I mean, look, I was just talking about the New York media, so I don't want to be the guy that overreacts either, but it is kind of annoying because realistically, I mean, game 1, fun game, but heavily aided by the fact that O'Neal Cruz did not wear sunglasses in center field. And game 3 is a game that we should have won against the Pirates and swept them had we put anything together. Today is a game we should have won, multiple chances, just a lot of bad situational hitting and a little bit of bad luck too. Do I think this is who the Mets are through 6 games? Is it going to be this way the entire season? No, if I'm being honest. I do think the Mets will be okay. I don't know if they have an incredible unlimited upside because of the fact that there's going to be some holes defensively. There's going to be some – God, what is that fucking garbage AI photo, by the way? Is that like Soto and Lindor and –
Bichette?
I don't know. I just found it on
Is that
Twitter.
Bichette?
I'm pretty sure that's Bo.
Yeah.
God, that's disgusting. So yeah, I mean, Bo Bichette has also been ass to start the season too. Marcus Semien has looked like he's 97. So there's been a lot of general there's a lot of things that are going to be needed for the Mets to click. I'm not going to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge yet, but I am in a position where I'm a little bit not as excited just because I'd like to be playing better. I mean, you start off against the Pirates and the Cardinals. I was hoping we'd at least go, overall, take both of those series. And it looks like we're in a position where, I mean, look, the Cardinals take the series against us. The Pirates, if we go 3-3, I was hoping for 4-2. So if we were 1 game better, if we hadn't dropped that game on Sunday, if we had won today, I'd probably feel a little bit calmer. I think the air is just kind of because we're hoping for a little more right off the bat, and we don't have it. It's just not exciting right now. The run scoring thing, by the way, Luke, obviously is on screen, is skewed by opening day a little bit.
Sure.
That's the thing.
I know it's very early in the baseball season, and it is too early to panic. However, the past 2 seasons in 2024 and 2025, the season came down to 1 game. If the Mets would, the Mets won in 2024, they made it to the playoffs in the second to last. The Mets, if they won 1 more game, they'd made the playoffs. Again, it is still early. It's too early to hit the panic button. However, there are things that I'm seeing that I don't like, and specifically with the runners in scoring position, this is a carryover from last year. Now, the Mets did announce that they are bringing back J.D. Martinez as kind of like a player coach kind of deal. I forget what his official title is, but he'll be there. The hope is Mark Vientos, who actually went 1 for 2 today, and with the start at first base. I was listening on the radio, so I didn't get a chance to actually watch him play first base. They didn't point out anything terrible, so I take that as a win. But I mean, I
Vientos
talked
got
about it.
pulled for pinch hitting, by the way, if that's what you were.
Well, no, he got pulled because it was a righty on the mound.
Yeah. They
So they put
switched over.
Peggy.
They switched Jared Young in, and they also switched Benjamin over Taylor. So like they did play that. So, but he was fine.
Yeah. The last episode before the season, I talked about Bo Bichette being an important piece to the success of the Mets this year, and so far he just hasn't been good enough. Now, again, it took Soto a minute to adjust as well to being in Queens, but Bo Bichette doesn't deserve to have the leash that Soto did. So I think he's taking his, and Ram, me and you have privately talked about this. I think he's bringing his defensive lapses to the plate.
Yes.
Can he turn it around? I think so. It's just not going as quickly as I'd like, and especially with the Mets having three. I'll say two because you can't. You want him in the field more times than not, so he can learn the position. We saw in 2025 when David Peterson was on the mound, you could afford to have Jeff McNeil in the outfield, center field, because he's a ground ball pitcher. So maybe when David Peterson or Clay Holmes are pitching, maybe that's when you put Brett Beatty at third and you let Bo Bichette DH, and that he can just focus on hitting and doesn't have to bring any of that into the box. So there's some adjustments I hope that are made. I do think they will figure it out, but I also thought they'd figure it out last year, and we all know what happened.
Yeah, you can also see here just kind of it's the overall bad averages. Not to harp on it, but through 6 games, Bo Bichette 327 at bats overall. Marcus Semien 2 and 20 at bats. Even Benj 3 for 19. Jorge Polanco 2 for 19. You've got 211, 158, 100. 217 for Beatty, 111 for Bo Bichette. Juan Soto, of course, being exempt because his OPS is still 952 because he's a fucking psycho. And Luis Robert, also, I'm going to say, is exempt. I'm not on Alvarez either. I think he's looked good in a short time. But, the majority of that lineup right there, the guys that are out there starting, Bichette, Lindor, Semien, and these are – it's just a really slow start for everyone kind of at the same time. And that's not fun. That's what it comes down to, because otherwise, for the most part, we have seen some bright spots on the pitching side. One of them that I do want to highlight on the pitching side that Peter and I were talking about is Tobias Myers. This is feels like a very Mets fan centric thing right now in terms of how this season has started. But Tobias Myers has been a very, very warm and happy surprise so far in the way he's performed. He pitches like a dog. I very much enjoy him. We've got him for a good couple of years, and his underlying stats have always looked good from when we got him. I'm going to pull up some of the pitching stats here too. But so far for him, he took the loss today, completely unfair because it was an unearned situation. But 6 innings, he has just ERA of 1.5. He has looked sharp. Brooks Raley has been nails, as he was described. Devin Williams' changeup looks outstanding. So there has been some good life out of Weaver. Had looked shaky, but he hasn't allowed to run either. And for the starting pitching has been fine. Peralta did not have a great first, but he looked good today. Senga looked good. William looked good. Holmes looked good, right? And Peterson looked good in his start out. So starting pitching with a decent start for the Mets. It was just a matter of the fact that they're not getting run support. You go into St. Louis, a team like that, and you pitch 1-run ball, essentially. We are a Lindor mental error away today from this being a Mets win, amongst many other things. But it's very realistically true that had Lindor paid attention at first, we might have been fine. So, it's right now one of those situations where the arms are looking okay and the bats haven't caught up yet. We will hope that it adjusts, whether it be the warm weather, whether it be everyone just kind of settles type of thing. But here we are. It's 6 games. It's not too much to panic about. Another 2 weeks, you might hear a little bit more of a jump off the ledge take from me, depending on how it goes. But 500 ball, when your offense looks like this through 6 games, is something. It's something.
Ram, could you pull the pitching photo back up?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm going to say it now. Richard Lovelady throwing in 3 games,
4 innings.
4 innings. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. That's not okay. And it's not like it was like garbage. Luis Garcia has 2 innings, but that was garbage time. The Mets were up. His first start was the Mets were up 11-5. Fine, don't care. But this man has thrown he threw in back-to-back extra innings on days where pitchers like Brooks Raley and Luke Weaver didn't even see the field. So I just think we've seen way too much Richard Lovelady, a guy that the Mets have already DFA'd and then picked back up like 3 times this offseason.
It's a tough one for me. I know it's like good soldier, Dickie Lovelady type of thing, but like, this is not the way the bullpen is supposed to be built to be used. I really like what I've seen out of William Williams so far, so I feel comfortable that if we can get a lead into like 8 and 9, we'll be fine. I mean, I think Myers will be a guy you use strictly for the 7th. He closed out the first game. He's pitched in other games where he's looked really sharp. So I think he's going to kind of have a very versatile, kind of what Seth Lugo used to do before for the Mets, when he would sometimes be the swingman, sometimes he'll spot start, sometimes he'll close. I mean, I've seen it's obviously just a few games, so I can't make that big of an assumption. But overall, body work I've seen out of Myers beforehand leads me to think he'll be a useful arm. But if you've got Minter railing towards the 8th, Devin Williams and Luke Weaver is your right-handed setup man, you're fine. 8th, 9th for the most part, and even to the 7th. So you should be all right. You just got to get through 6. So the pitch plan has worked okay so far. I don't like the Lovelady stuff at all, but I mean, they're just trying to burn him out until Minter gets here. So whatever they want to do is fine. But you got to have better situational hitting, because the other issue that really has been annoying me, and I have been complaining to Peter about this, is the strikeouts. I mean, because you look at Bo Bichette, I mean, it's not just the fact that they're batting like 111. 8 strikeouts to 27 at bats. I mean, if you prorate that to, towards 600 at bats or so, you're looking at like 180 to 190 strikeouts. Brett Beatty, 6 and 23, same thing. These guys are not hitting for enough power to be justified in striking out nearly 200 times. Right? The same thing with Marcus Semien. I mean, these are 15 to 20 home run hitters in Bo Bichette, Brett Beatty, and Marcus Semien. 8 strikeouts and 20 at bats, 6 strikeouts and 23, 8 for 27 in Bo Bichette's case. Polanco and Lindor don't get the hate here. Benj is a rookie, so I'm not going to be too mad. But those situational strikeouts have been a pain in my ass, because there have been situations where the Mets have needed to move a runner over or get a sac fly, and they need to put the ball in play, and we're just striking out looking at the ball. And so it's a frustrating one for me in that regard to watch the type of hitting that we've seen so far. But again, 6 games. I'm not gonna jump off the bridge, but it's not fun right off the bat. But 3-3 could be worse.
I have to say it's different. It's different this year than last year. I know, Peter, you were saying there was a lot of similarities. What I'll say is different this year. And if you pull back up the starting rotation, I have a lot more faith in this starting rotation than I did last year. Right. My thing last year was the starting rotation looked really great to start the season. They were mowing guys down, but the law of averages was eventually going to catch up to them, and it did. I don't feel the same way about this rotation, right? Particularly, you have Freddie Peralta at the top and Nolan McLean. I think those are 2 solid names that aren't going to regress. Now, Kodai Senga, I thought he could be dominant all year round. We didn't see that last year, and I think David Peterson is still a great starting pitcher as well too. I think he'll probably end up in the high 3s for ERA. So maybe a little bit of regression, but I have a lot more faith in this rotation than I did last year. So ride the rotation, let the guys with the bats figure it out. And at some point, it's all gonna come together. It's not gonna flip flop like it did last year, where the bats start waking up and the pitchers are tiring out. And I think Ram, you make a really good point here too. I think Tobias Myers could be a difference maker, right? Same pitch, 3 games. You're stretching him out a little bit, and then you're also going to give him the opportunity for, I'm sure, at some point for a spot start. And you have options in AAA as well, right? In Jonah Tong. So there is a lot more to like about this Mets rotation than I did last year.
Yeah, I'm to build on that, Senga has already thrown more pitches than he did last year, above 97 miles an hour. Now, injury concern is still a big deal with him, but the fact that he's going back to what made him so special in 2023, which is a power pitcher, I don't know. I like what I see out of him so far.
Yeah, I understand where Luke is coming from. I don't 100% agree, only because I've talked a lot about like the fact that we the Mets were also like really unlucky last year too, in the sense of the way that it all timed out. If overall like the timing of everything was really bad. And that being said, the core of what you're saying though, Luke, I do agree with you in the idea of I was watching Griffin Canning go out there and stunt last year, and I was worried how long it would last. And he got injured, so obviously that's bad luck. But there was also no guarantee that he was going to continue pitching that way the entire year. Griffin Canning was pitching like an ace for us, which was really weird. And there was expected regression there too. So they got the regression one way or another. They ended up having to use the most pitchers in MLB history last year. So clearly the injury bug hit them really badly overall. Fine. But those names didn't inspire the confidence like going in there.
No, but they didn't inspire
Yeah,
they didn't inspire the confidence, but at the same time too, there were injury risks on a lot
yeah,
of that rotation, right? If you thought Sean Manaea was going to pitch you all throughout the season, you're insane. I mean,
right.
there
Now
is
he's
no way, there is no reason why David Stearns should have believed that Sean Manaea was going to be your 3 to 5 all throughout the season. He was going to get hurt.
no, that's fair. That's fair. And I think it was just the idea that it all kind of snowballed at once for them, right? And we talked a lot about the rotation was a pleasant surprise in the beginning because on paper it really looked like it had been abandoned and they were just
Yeah.
kind of hoping for the best, and they did get the best for a short stretch of time. They weren't able to capitalize on that, and then when it all snowballed down, they had no real options. Now in this year we have much more depth, not only just in the way the minors pitchers have developed, right? But Sean and I is not even part of the main rotation. We had a 6-man
Yep.
rotation set up for the year, and if Sean had got his fastball up to 91, he'd probably be in it. But the fact that he's not there, he's probably even followed behind Tobias Myers in the pecking order. But putting that aside, right? The 5-man rotation now does inspire. It's weird to say that Clay Holmes inspires some confidence. I really don't know where that's come from out of my mouth. I can't believe I'm saying that. But Clay Holmes is oddly consistent as a starter now. A part of me is
He's
still
5
waiting
innings.
for him to get like shelled.
He's 5 innings. He's going to get you somewhere between 5 to 6 innings, and that's fine.
And that's fine. A 5-5 guy at the back end of your rotation is fine, considering the way that he prevents run. I still can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. It's not even a joke. I still can't. There's a part of me that still thinks like at some point
He's the de facto closer for the Yankees because Aaron Boone's too chicken shit to put Luke Weaver in as the closer. Yeah,
and it's also weird for me. I gotta say, it's kind of funny talking about like these teams for years. That now I'm looking at the Mets side and we've got Clay Holmes and Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, and I'm like, this is just weird. Something about this is very odd looking at the pitching side. And like there's gonna be a game where Clay Holmes pitches like 6 innings, and we're gonna go to like Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, and I'm gonna be very confused about the box score. So
I hope it's in Yankee Stadium.
Well, at least they'll be comfortable. They'll know what they're doing over
Well,
there.
I don't think you can say that Devin Williams would be comfortable in Yankee Stadium. I think he smiled after he got his save yesterday. I think he smiled for the first time in about 2 years.
He's happy. He's happy there. I'm happy for him.
I will say though, like he overall has looked like his pitches have looked very sharp this year. I mean, for the most part last year, and I want to point this out to anyone because we're talking about it, I'll bring it up in a second. His overall results looked really rough last year, Devin Williams, but under the hood, it looked really strong, which is why the Mets, I think, were so eager on hoping to grab him. I'll bring up last year's right now. And you can see there's still a lot of red on this in terms of the chase, the whiff rate, the K, hard hit rate. Like he was actually still, at least under the hood, a very, very strong contributor in terms of mechanics. But overall, I mean, he got hit around a lot. His ERA was up to 5 and barely got under 5 towards the end of the year. Right now, it looks like at least, I mean, it's only been a few innings. So obviously this is the smallest of possible sample sizes, but it looks like these are trends that he is going to continue. which would be nice. I'll bring up 2026 now as well, where he's not qualified for much, but you can see a similar amount of red here. Average exit velocity right now in the 99th percentile again. The changeup has had really, really good bite. So for the most part, I mean, at least in that regard, the first appearances that we've seen out of Devin Williams, it's nice to be able to breathe in that regard, because God knows if he came in for his first save and he got lit up like a Christmas tree, the stories would not end about the fact that just Devin Williams cannot handle New York as a whole. So I'm glad for that much at the very least. I'll say that.
But, switching to guys that can handle New York, I was very surprised in a positive way. Maybe I shouldn't say that I was surprised, but because I did trade for him. But Ryan Weathers looked good in his first start as New York Yankee.
Yeah, Ryan Weathers.
Did you like what you saw?
Every Yankee, as we transition into the Yankees rotation, I'm going to bring up a stat here from Underdog that I think is legitimately worth talking about. This is not the one. That's just Devin Williams again. Yankees starting pitcher to begin the season, 33.2 innings pitched, 35 Ks, sparkling .53 ERA and .68 WHIP. I mean, that's fucking outstanding. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. That is a ridiculous level. And, so when I'm talking about the fact that, it's only 6 games, I wish the Mets would have done something cool. Admittedly, those are ridiculous numbers from a place that they didn't know if it was going to be a strength for them. This was a team that was a home run and big offensive unit last year. They kept those guys together. I mean, if they can pitch like this, it's a fucking problem for the AL East.
I think starting pitching was a strength for them going into the season, right? And the depth that you're going to get, at the end of April, May, and then Garrett Cole coming back in June. We know Max Fried can handle New York, right? I mean, he had a phenomenal season last year. He's picking up where he started. I think he had 7 innings, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts last night. There's questions about Cam Schlittler. Even after his playoff performance last year, and he's come out and he's silenced the doubters. Will Warren has looked good, as Peter had mentioned. Ryan Weathers looked good. I think he was laboring a little bit watching his start. I want to say, what was he? He was 4 1/3. So I think the numbers look good for 7 strikeouts, but there comes a point when you're working too hard and you're taken away from the rest of the team. And it felt like that was his performance. But it's a solid start. I mean, 4 1/3, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. You try to limit the hits and walks a little bit more, but you can't complain for a guy going out there and only giving up one earned run. Paul Blackburn looks really great. With a 6.75 ERA. I don't know why anyone would ever want to get rid of Paul Blackburn, but that's to each their own. But yeah, it's really Schlittler and Fried that are carrying the load right now. Zero ERA. What is that? Over 25 innings between the two of them. I mean, that's insane, right? That's insane. What is that? 8 hits, 2 walks. So they've let 10 people on base through 25 innings. That's sick.
Cam is a guy that I have been very open about the fact that even though there's pinstripes, I have a lot of respect for him, and I'm very impressed by his early performance. And .26 WHIP in 2 starts so far. I mean, an out away from averaging 6 innings a start to that's a brilliant start to the season. This is a guy that I think could really be a difference maker for the Yankees. And same for Ryan Williams. I mean, it's just a 1 start, but I thought his stuff looked to be as advertised. If he can be a guy that can get you 5 time out, striking out that many, he's got that dominant level of pitching. This is still somebody who can contribute for you well. Overall, I mean, it's just good outside of Paul Blackburn, but former, so he's figuring some things out. But it's a tough one, I think, to look at some of these names, because I know it's going to change up too, in the sense of we don't know. The assumption is one might say in the rotation, right? But you've got guys on the back burner. They're going to come. Cole is obviously going to hit the rotation again if all goes well. Rodon is going to get back to the rotation if things go well. Luis Gil hasn't made a start yet because he got optioned down, but he'll probably make another start as well. So the reinforcement's coming on top. So at least the first 6 games, I mean, to know that you can kind of hang your hat on the guy expected you're hanging your hat on, especially in Max Fried, who has been completely as advertised since joining the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, you pull up the stat from earlier with the ERA under 1, and arguably the Yankees' first and third best pitcher haven't pitched a game yet for them. So, sure, like maybe Weathers gets hurt, everyone talks about how he's a big hit injury history. Well, you have 2 pitchers that are probably better than him waiting in the wings to take his place. So, if I was a Yankee fan, I'd be very happy about my starting pitching in the Bronx. And I think that, we joked a lot in the offseason about how the Yankees basically stayed the same, just got older. But they did improve the pitching, and Cam Schittler got a year more of experience, and he seemed to have he's growing into what Yankee fans hoped he'd be. So, the Yankees, they didn't change names, might look better than they did last year.
I think this is the crazy thing about Schittler, though, is we didn't have these expectations for him, right? Like, I don't think anyone was sitting here and saying, the beginning of last season saying, you know what, Cam Schittler is going to be a number 1, right? Like he's going to be the ace of the rotation. He's going to carry us in a playoff game. He's going to throw a complete game, right? No one was saying that, and he has far exceeded any expectations that Yankees fans have had for him. I mean, we knew he could throw hard, right? But I mean, at this level, he is far reaching from what we thought he could be.
So I threw up the hitting ground I actually wanted to ask you about, because the guy that I talk about a lot, sometimes playfully, but in general, especially because of the fact that they said at one point he couldn't open a fucking bag of chips. Giancarlo Stanton is batting 500 through 6 games, and he has been rocketing the ball. And he has looked really good. He got hits in 20 at-bats, right? I mean, 500, he's getting on base. He looks alive. I know he's just a DH, but, that's got to be somewhat exciting, realistically.
No, he's a stud. And the crazy thing is he only has 1 home run, right? Like, it seems like it was either last year or the year before, they've leveled out his swing, and it's just like, dude, just hit some line drives, right? Just you hit the ball hard. Just hit the ball hard and play, and you're gonna find that spot. They're not gonna be able to catch it. And his, you saw his average last year was what, around 300. So the levels. I mean, I think the level swing has really worked for him. I think the only downside to that is he's not fast, right? Like,
no,
I watched him try to leg out a double, and they were like, it looks like he's moving slow. Like it looks like he's jogging, but that's just how he moves. And I'm just like, yeah, that's just how he moves.
It's so funny because, dude, Giancarlo Stanton is statistically, one of the most elite bat speed guys. Like, in terms of batted ball velocity, he's got some of the best StatCast data on hitting the ball hard, the history of the game of baseball. And that also works against the fact that his legs don't work, because the ball gets to the fielder so fast that he's barely on his way to first by the time it gets there, because he's rocketing these things at 112 miles an hour, and he's got maybe 13 miles an hour in him, max. Yeah. And so it's kind of a tough, the combination is tough, which is why he probably wants to hit home runs. But you're right about the swing. I think he looks good, and I'm impressed by going from Giancarlo Stanton can't open a bag of chips to Giancarlo Stanton leads the Yankees and hit through 6 games and is batting 500 through 2 series.
Yeah, I think selfishly for me, I would rather him hit more home runs, because it gets him to that that next plateau of, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's borderline to the Hall of Fame.
I think he's borderline right now. I think if he gets to 500, he's a lock. I think
that's exactly how I feel, and I think he'll get there because he is borderline right now. He's he's an elite power hitter, but he's not there yet. He needs another 2.5 good years or to touch 500 to really be able to say, okay, concrete, this is a guy who should get in. I think he should. I think he'll get there, and I'm hoping that he does. So I want the home runs too. Like I want like a 30 home run season, like push towards 500. Because I mean, Mike is a damn good power hitter. I remember him being Mike Stanton on the Marlins and him mashing home runs. And luckily at that point, the Marlins were kind of ass, so I could kind of just sit there and go, "Holy crap, that guy has power." And like Giancarlo Stanton has like elite power. When we talk about like light tower power and all the crazy things, he is one of those guys like just really hits the stuff out of the ball. So I mean, I'm happy if he stays out there. I root for him to pad his potential Hall of Fame case. So good for him in that regard. At all, are you worried about the Judge strikeout rates to start the season, or is this kind of to be expected?
It's not expected. I mean, he's done so much better with the strikeouts over the last couple of years. I'm going to chalk it back up to my earlier statement. It's early in the season. I'm sure he's trying to figure some stuff out. I know there's still a bit of a hangover from the WBC. He'll straighten it out. He'll figure it out. I'm sure. But yeah, striking out was it 4 times on opening day was really difficult to watch.
Peter, do you see anything on here that piques your interest, either as a meme or as a legitimate thought that you want to do?
Well, I mean, again, it's too early to really start formulating any hardline opinions. I do wish Trent Grisham batted higher than 200 because I did trade from our CBL league, and he is the best outfielder in New York. So you expect a little bit more from him. I also got really upset after Ryan McMahon's first game of 1 hit, 2 RBIs and a run. And I was like, oh no, did I trade him for just Fab? That's crazy. And then he went on to show me why I traded him for just Fab. Apparently Ram hated that take so much he left.
No, we're good. I'm just fixing my stuff.
But no, it's I'm as shocked as anybody at Giancarlo Stanton that like you said, he couldn't open a bag of chips, and now he's batting 500 and just looks like he still runs like shit, but like that stat line, that's like if that was him on the Marlins, like yeah, that makes sense. Like I bet if we look up a lot of his stat lines from the Marlins, they would look similar.
The power numbers obviously slightly just a touchdown. Like, yeah, he's been sharp right now. I think Luke is right about them leveling out Stanton swing a little bit, which is good. Ben Rice has also looked relatively effective and strong the year. Yeah. And a lot of eyes are going to be on him for the obvious reason, but I like that he's kind of stabilized and looked sharp so far through the beginning of the season for them.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's so weird. Like you look at the Yankees here and you look at the Mets, and I think the difference right now is Ben Rice and Giancarlo Stanton versus really just Juan Soto was the only name that popped up to me that I felt was performing well for the Mets so far. Right.
Which would be fair.
I look up and down this lineup right here. And yeah, it's Stanton and Ben Rice. Right. Bellinger at 286. Okay. But yeah, right. I mean, it's just Juan Soto. So I like I said, it's the difference is so minute between yes. the two teams right now.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, looking at this, I mean, these are what the Yankees have got. You switch over to what's going on over here, and are not wrong.
Robert has played well.
Yeah, I give Robert his credit, and Alvarez hasn't been necessarily bad. I like him, and he had a big home run too. But and Robert had the walk off, so good for Luis Robert. Robert, I forgot he wants to pronounce it that way. I keep messing that up. But outside of Juan Soto being Juan Soto, which I appreciate because he's still insane. That's it. That's what we got. Because realistically, if you had Beatty or Bichette or Simeon or Bench pick up a little bit more, Polanco, just outside of that opening day game where everybody did everything right, one more situational hit, the Mets would have probably won another game. They might have won 2 more. They could have been 5-1, right? So it is frustrating to see that it's essentially just been, and they have died over the St. Louis series. I mean, over the last 20-something innings, they put together 1 run. You don't win ball games over stretches like that. So obviously they got to figure these things out. I don't know what it is. If it's just a couple bad games, it happens. Everyone has bad series, but I mean, I just don't think you should be dropping series to the Cardinals if you want to be a playoff contender. Obviously, there are series like that every year that we have these conversations. It's just, these last couple of years for the Mets have come down to a game to get into the playoffs or not. Right. And so for me, when I look at games like this, where I'm like, you dropped the game on Sunday where you should have swept the Pirates. You dropped the game today where you should have won the series against the Cardinals. They don't get talked about in 5 months, but it is going to be something that affects us in 5 months because these wins and losses count just as much. So I get frustrated when I'm like, if this is a Mets team that cycles around that same cap again, that they're going to be a game to 2 out of the playoff or not, against the Phillies and Braves team that is probably not as cursed this year, even though they've already got a step behind with some of their big guys out, right? But it just, I don't want to see them drop games like that. Every game counts. I don't want to be over dramatic. But again, if you come down to one game, 3 out of the last 4 years, essentially, it is a pain in my ass because you make the playoffs a game before you make the playoff a game, you miss the playoffs by a game. It's frustrating to see them lose games that they really should be winning.
And I think on the, and I know it's early, but I think there's a little bit more pressure for the Mets because the Braves have started off really well, right? I think they're 5-1 to start the season, and last year they were awful. Like they were bad, and they could not get out of the hole. And it seems like they haven't dug themselves in the hole just yet, and have given themselves a little bit of a grace period here. But the Braves have looked good to start the season.
They're 4-2, but you know who's 5-1 besides the Yankees is the Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins. And the Miami Marlins eviscerated Shane Smith.
I said it earlier on the podcast, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Miami Marlins are going to be an interesting team this year. I think they have some pieces in that rotation. I think they have pieces in the bullpen, and I think they have pieces in that lineup that they're going to win. They're going to win some games this year. And they had a very good second half of the season last year too. So if they can pick up on the momentum, I think they might be a wild card team.
Well, Luke. Oh, sorry, Ram. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Say because you can finish your thing. You're good.
No, I'll talk about the Marlins because I was looking at. I mean, they're getting contributions from guys that at least they didn't expect to be getting contributions by. I mean, backup catcher Liam Hicks has 3 home runs in 5 games. Owen Cassidy has looked sharp so far. I mean, I could pull up the numbers for them, but they're figuring some things out. And arguably, the guy that they expected the most contributions for offensively this year, and Kyle Stowers, is starting the first 3-4 weeks not playing. Right, and they're 5-1, and Sandy Alcantara went out there and threw a complete game shutout today, vintage Sandy Alcantara, right, and they just destroyed the White Sox. Overall, 5-1 start to the Marlins. I mean, they're probably feeling good amongst themselves. I hate that, but they probably feel good amongst themselves. So that's what's going on. But at least, again, all these things considered is why I'm a little bit annoyed with the Mets in the sense of like, hey, if the Marlins weren't 5-1, we were at the top of the division, we could breathe. But you're already a couple games behind, and we'll see what happens. But
I wouldn't go as far to say that the Mets have dug themselves in a hole. But yes, I agree. I think you could have had a better start against the Pirates and the Cardinals.
Cardinals, yes, that's what if this team is supposed to be good, I was hoping they would. So that's kind of where we're at in that regard.
Well, speaking of pieces, in a recurring segment that we love in this show, we like to look at pieces of old from New York, from our New York baseball teams. So let's start here. Let me throw this on the screen.
Oh, baby, here we go. This is how we got it. All right.
So, that is the Yankees.
I don't think there's any difference between 2013 and 2012. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
All right, so who's I remember Benuelos is in there too. Jose Ramirez, right-handed pitcher. It's amazing that the Guardians got him to convert to a hitter and really unlocks his potential. But Yeah, there's some. I don't remember Brian Mitchell or Brett Marshall. You could have told me they're the same guy or that neither of them existed, and I would have believed you. I do
Yeah,
remember Nick Turley because I think he made the majors at some point or another.
he did. No,
Yeah, so
all right, so hold on. Just looking at 2012. Gary Sanchez was 3 and slides all the way up to 1. Dylan, here's a crazy one. Dylan Betances was 2 in
yeah, and he
2012.
got dropped down
He
because they
dropped.
thought he
Yeah.
was still starting back then. So
Yes.
he got that drop down because he ended up becoming like, okay, it's reliever risk now, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And now I'm just trying to
Mason
see
Williams,
who's graduated off.
Mason,
Ben Gamel's off. Tyler Austin went from 15 to 3. I don't see David
Mason,
Phelps, and I don't see Adam Warren.
I can't believe Mason Williams actually played a few games for the Mets in 2021. His last team that he ever played for was the Mets. He played about like 15 games to them in 2021. And he's never done too much of anything. He's never even gotten more than 300 plate appearances in the majors. And at one point, he was their number 2 prospect.
Mm. Yeah, no. The most he's ever had is 123 at bats in a season, 51 games for Cincinnati.
That's rough. You never
Yeah.
really put it together.
Slade Heathcott, awesome.
What is the who's this number 7 guy? He made it to the majors. I don't think Angelo Gums.
Let's look at
That
Angelo
doesn't
Gums.
sound real. I'm gonna hit the
Never made it to the majors.
That makes sense to me.
Never
like,
made it to AAA. Topped out at AA in 2017, 231 batting average, 641 OPS, 3 stolen bases, 7 RBIs. Yeah, no. I can see why it didn't pan out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah,
It's a cool name.
I get it.
It's a cool
Angelo
name.
Gums. It is.
I would have loved to get an Angelo Gums jersey.
And
I might still consider it.
I don't know if it's going to go back far enough or anything, or if it's going to come up on the Mets because, like, I don't know how deep it goes, but we used to have a prospect called Toby Stoner, and I really, really wanted him to make it because then the Mets would have to print legally a jersey that said Stoner on it. And I was rooting for Toby Stoner for that reason. I don't know if he makes it onto any of these prospect lists, but if he does, I'm going to be pretty happy.
That's some deep knowledge right there.
Well, speaking of the Mets prospect list,
here's Toby Stoner.
Whoa,
that's just
JT Escarra.
There you go.
Yo.
I mean, look, so let's have a little fun here right off the bat, right? You want to talk about names we can recognize, right? From 20 up, obviously, Ahmed Rosario is there, right? Evan Plawecki played for the Red Sox as well. But DeGrom, Fulmer, Montero, Flores, Familia, Nimmo, Syndergaard, Wheeler, d'Arnaud. I mean, this did stuff. These are guys that hit the majors for one reason or another.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys even had Evan Phillips or his evil twin Phillip Evans.
Yeah, Phillip Evans was supposed to be a decent bat. I never liked Kevin Kikini. I could never wrap my head around the fact that I just didn't think he was going to be a guy.
Well, he is a guy.
He is a guy. Well,
Brandon Nimmo over there at that time, I had to be convinced on him too. I was a little bit wrong about Brandon Nimmo. I did not have faith in Brandon Nimmo being a regular contributor to the level that he did.
Did you know that he was a child of God? Because if you didn't know, then I can't blame you.
He was not so overtly a child of God until he made it to the majors and then some. So this was not knowledge that I had known at the time.
Fair enough.
I did know at the time. I think he was a child of Wyoming. That's what I remember.
And I
was very.
Is Wilfredo Tovar? Is that Ezequiel Tovar's brother?
Wilfredo Tovar was supposed to be a defensive prospect. He was like a wizard with the glove, and he continued to like figure something, and then like he just couldn't like hit enough to really make it, and his defense kind of tailed off too. I remember Domingo Tapia and Luis Mateo because there was a guy who used to make like baseball memes videos, and his name was like Domingo Ayala. That was his like meme name when he would like hit like these fake home runs and do these meme videos. And I used to mess with Domingo Tapia because I would contact guys at the time, and I was like, that could just be you if you had a bat. But like he was much lankier. But I saw him in Brooklyn too. Hansel Robles, I actually thought was going to be a big reliever for a bit too, because he sparked some talent. I think he made the majors. I think he closed for the Angels for a little bit, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
I want to say he was with the Braves too, but I could be wrong.
I feel like he was, but I hated that because I was like, no, you're my guy, Hansel Robles. Like, how are you gonna? But he's a Dominican-born guy. I remember he was with the Mets.
I'm sorry,
yes, he did. He made it up. I remember him. He 23 saves with the Angels, and I remember sitting there, and I was like, "That's my guy, man, Hansel Robles." Like, I was happy for him. So I remember him well. He was always a class act, and good for him in that regard. And of course, I mean, number 7, Wilmer Flores is like one of the most beloved guys from that times in the Mets world. Also known for the fact that he cried because he thought he was going to get traded in the middle of the game, and every Mets fan, and then hits a walk-off home run, and they're like, don't trade him. We need him. We need to keep him forever. And instead of getting Carlos Gomez, we got to keep Wilmer Flores.
And traded Mike Fulmer instead.
Yes, and Luis Cessa, I think, were the guys that got traded for Yoenis Cespedes, who I loved to death for it just existing.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboy.
Oh, Syndergaard and Zach Wheeler not even getting photos here, and they were mighty good prospects at that time. There was a lot of question about Zach. I think was it 2012? I think we got Zach Wheeler for Tron, and they developed.
I think he was number 1 or number 2, if I remember.
What year is this?
This is 2013. Yeah, 2012. Zach Wheeler was number 1. Matt Harvey was 2. So I'm assuming Matt Harvey graduated. Pitching.
Matt Harvey graduated, and d'Arnaud was. We acquired d'Arnaud in the R.A. Dickey trade because d'Arnaud came over from Toronto with a few other prospects, Noah Syndergaard included. Zach Wheeler was a straight up for Carlos Beltran. Noah Syndergaard and d'Arnaud were traded for R.A. Dickey, along with another outfielder who I believe never really put it together.
Didn't we get Buck in that deal too?
John Buck, was that John Buck was with Toronto. Did we get him in that deal?
I know Buck played for the Mets for a short
I think we might have, because I think we gave we had to give them Josh Thole because of the fact that Thole was the only one who could catch the fucking knuckleball, and they didn't have someone who could catch the knuckleball. And I believe that we I think
I'll never forget that deal. And a half for Buck, man. That was just he was the truth there for a minute.
Was Thole the one that had to wear a first baseman's mitt to catch?
I believe that's a thing, actually. Yes,
I think so. I think you had to wear a first baseman's mitt to catch R.A. Dickey.
I found the old press release for the trade. I'm going to bring it up. It was Wilmer Becerra. That was the outfielder that we got in that deal too. But just for the sake of it, after we going back to Juan Soto, apparently.
Yes.
So yeah, this is so R.A. Dickey gets sent over with Josh Thole and Mike Nikias in exchange for John Buck, who we took, and then Travis d'Arnaud, Noah Syndergaard, and Wilmer Becerra. And Becerra never really came too much of it. And of course, as part of the contract, Dickey donated to the Jays Care Foundation. But standard Braves maneuver there too. Surprising Toronto did it. But yeah, that was that deal that brought that went back in terms of the. Let's see if I can get back to that brought over at the time. I mean, it was really funny because Brandon Nimmo, of course, was drafted by the Mets, but Syndergaard, Wheeler, and d'Arnaud came over in trades when they were kind of cleaning house. Got rid of Beltran for half a season, and Dickey, after his Cy Young season, arguably my favorite season for anyone pitching for the Mets, because none of that season made sense to me to watch a knuckleballer strike out 225 plus batters. I miss R.A. Dickey. I will always miss R.A. Dickey.
I think he got a couple of mornings left in him. Can't be worse than Dickey Lovelady.
I mean, that's a hilarious thought. That I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to be waxing poetic about him, but But I think when did this started? Like 2012, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
2011.
2011.
So I don't think we're gonna get unless Toby Stoner was on that 2011 list. I don't think that he was gonna be able to be on these lists because Toby Stoner was the like 09, 10 days. Like he might have been like the 25th prospect or something back then.
Yeah, and
So
you only got 10. You only got the top 10 in 2011. So
yeah, and I think he was kind of like their 20th back then. So I guess I'll never get more of the Toby Stoner.
damn.
Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. That's what I get
All right,
for
cool.
waxing poetic about Toby Stoner
You can talk more about Yordani Veldespin.
and how he got hit in the dick.
Yes.
Activates me every time.
Yep.
I'm always ready for it. But this is good. I'm glad we're sticking to the segment. I'm so proud of us.
Consistency. I mean, that's not something you see a lot on the show, but we're trying to be consistent here.
Oh, we are. So, you know.
We're getting there. I believe it. We pretty much hit the hour, though, at least. So I think we've done our community service for the night as our brand of our arm of Ash. Yes. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about. I think we've done our community service for the night as Ash. Unless you.
No, I'm ready to abdicate the throne back to the one true Ash.
There we go. Luke, you look particularly sexy in that angle, by the way. I just want to let you know. I was looking over the side of my screen and I got a little distracted.
Thank you.
So
thank you. Trying. I just want to look good for you. That's it.
I appreciate that. As Ash for at least another hour and 22 minutes, right? Do you have any final takes leaving the New York Power Hour for the night there?
No, I think the Braves look really good this year. I think Trent Grisham sucks, and I don't think he should ever be rostered on a team. But no, the Braves are great. Really excited about racing this year. I'm really upset that St. John's lost.
Leave some crumbs for the rest of us, man. Leave some crumbs for the rest of us to be able to.
Okay, yeah, that's it. And I love my wife, and I love spending time with her. And I hate personally, guys. I hate having to drive south. I can drive in any direction. I refuse to drive south.
Ash, to my left, do you have any final thoughts for the night?
Yes, I love my dogs. They are my world. No, I actually believe it or not have a real honest to God final thoughts. So, as you may or may not know, hockey season's basically over. Nothing matters anymore. But nobody told that to the Rangers last night, who the absolute crap out of the Devils on the scoreline and on the ice, 4-1. And, it's even though this season is not a season that I will ever look back on fondly. It is nice to get reminders every once in a blue moon that hockey players are truly just like us. Because yesterday, while the entire team was fighting, Igor Shesterkin and the Devils goalie got into a fight, and everybody stopped fighting to watch the goalie fight. So, it's nice to just see the hockey players be like us. And to end the final thought, Igor beat the shit out of him. So that was beautiful to watch.
He certainly did.
I don't have any Ash takes. I was actually going to turn around and talk about F1, but Luke stole my thunder. So I'm just going to quietly bring us off into the sounds of the night for the two people that are watching us. One of them not being Ed, so this is an improvement. I'm very happy about where we are tonight. Since Ed's not here, we got another stranger. This is great. They probably left after the beginning where we were just talking about being Ash the whole time, and they had no idea what the fuck we were talking about.
We are all Ash.
We are all Ash. All right, so as Ash for the last time, speaking on behalf of Ash to my left with the hat and Ash to my right without the hat, we want you all to have a good night. As always, thebestdamnsports.com is where you can find the direct move to our YouTube and a link towards our Discord, where most of us will, on most days, not be Ash, but we'll be happy to talk to you. Have a good night. We will see you next week when we try this once again. On behalf of the New York Power Hour, take care and good night.